A total occupation of a section of Metropolitan Rail corridor was in place to facilitate track maintenance work being performed by a contractor operating under a Rail Transport Operator's accreditation. A site office had been established for the project, featuring meal rooms and a covered briefing area for staff, and all personnel were required to proceed through a single point of entry after reporting in and attending a pre-start briefing. Excavation work was being carried out in a section of the site located between the up line and a fence that separated a nearby siding from the main line. The project was using road rail vehicles acting as dump trucks to remove spoil from the site and unload it at a dedicated location around 100 metres away. Late one afternoon, a senior engineer working for the contractor attempted to access the site via the single entry point, only to find it blocked by construction materials and equipment. As a result, the person decided to access the site from the location where the RRVs were dumping spoil. Having accessed the corridor, the individual proceeded down a pathway adjacent to the railway line before making a phone call to his supervisor. While the senior engineer was seen by another worker, the worker did not feel confident to challenge him about being on the worksite or in the danger zone. At the same time, an RRV, having unloaded spoil, was re-railed and began the short trip back to the excavation area, travelling in the same direction as the individual now on site. The RRV operator noticed the engineer in the reversing camera of the vehicle and sounded a warning horn. Having seen an acknowledgement from the engineer, and with this person now out of view in the reversing camera, the driver of the RRV continued at a speed of around 15 kilometres per hour. Shortly afterward, the RRV collided with the person, knocking them to the ground and rolling over their leg, causing serious injuries. Subsequent investigations revealed a series of procedural safe work system failures that, if addressed, would have prevented this incident from occurring. Fundamentally, the senior engineer who entered the site via the dump truck unloading area and not the designated single point of entry was not aware of the hazards present on site because they hadn't reported to the workers protecting the worksite to understand the dangers and the controls in place to mitigate safety risks. Indeed, ONRSR is becoming increasingly concerned with the tendency for irregular visitors to worksites who may primarily occupy office-based roles to pay less attention to safe work management systems. This situation is being exacerbated by anecdotal evidence of an apparent reluctance by on-site staff to challenge such an attitude from senior personnel for fear of professional repercussions. Such an attitude presents an authority gradient, which has the potential to further undermine safety culture on worksites. Similarly concerning was the lack of security measures implemented at the site that could have prevented an individual entering the site from anywhere other than the designated single entry point. When coupled with other failures, such as the decision to make a phone call that greatly reduced situational awareness and not to employ a spotter to assist the RRV driver in assessing the risks to personal safety, this incident represents a significant safety system failure. ONRSR is reminding all accredited operators of the need for absolute vigilance in the preparation, explanation, and execution of safe work systems. It is a fundamental obligation under rail safety national law to comply with safety management systems and the relevant safety duties at all times, and these obligations cannot be contracted out.